Hey everybody, welcome back to Tenza Motorsports. Today we are doing some more AUXITO lights. Now this time we're going to be doing some interior lights. So I've got the kind of the standard light bulb looking ones and I've got the oval ones. All three of these right here will be linked in the description below so you can get these for your BMW. Also same as last time with AUXITO, if you use code TENZA you'll get 15% off after clicking the link that is down in the description. I'm excited to get these in. They are super bright. So this is going to completely change the interior of your car. If you're having problems seeing anything underneath the footwell, in the trunk, this changes absolutely everything. I can't believe how bright these things actually are. And they're really easy to install. We'll go over a couple of them. I do have some in the car already just to make sure that they worked right. I didn't want to get into this project and then find out I had the wrong sizes. So I kind of verified these to make sure they work. So I'll show those off at the end of the video when we do all the lights. But I want to show these ones here, and then the footwell, and this would also be like your jockey box or the trunk. So when you open up the trunk, those are the ones that turn on. We've been really happy with our AUXITO headlights so far. They're still in the car, they're still working great. Haven't had any issues with them. We haven't had a lot of runtime with them, but I want to come back to this topic later on after we've had the car for a little bit and been able to run these lights and give an honest review of how they are living day to day. Because we are going to daily drive this car before the customer receives it. We want to make sure that we're breaking in the new crank bearings, the main bearings that we did, and then we also did a clutch. So we want to make sure that we're breaking all that in so the customer, when he receives the car, it's ready to go. He's not having to worry about anything. So we're going to start with the footwell lights here on the passenger side. I've already done the driver's side. I'll show how to do that. All of these are really easy to do. There's not any like major disassembly. You're just pulling the light cover out and then you're just replacing the bulb that's in there. Obviously you'll want to make sure that this is unplugged. You don't want to be putting your fingers in there for two reasons. One, you got electricity, and two, original bulbs get really hot. And I'll show this in a second. The actual tailgate light cover thing that it's got on it melted. And I picked one out of a junkyard. I'm not sure if it's the same one because it came off of a 5 Series. So I'm hoping that I can replace that. If not, it's not a big deal, but these original bulbs that are in these cars get so hot, they literally melt the plastic casings that they're in. So these LEDs don't get anywhere near that temperature. So without further ado, let's get these installed and show some before and after footage. So we're currently in the passenger footwell. We are going to remove this light by just pulling straight down. This trim removal tool is what I use the majority of the time. It's got this reverse hook on one side, and then the other side is kind of a rounded flat blade. So we're gonna be hooking onto the side of this, pulling straight down. Again, be careful, don't shock yourself. And these get very hot, so you can burn your hands if it's on like it is now, and you pull it out and then start handling it. So this will be the same or similar process to the jockey box and the driver's side footwell. All you're gonna be doing is sliding this out of the way. Once you get that off, you got the light right here. We'll pop this straight out and then replace this. And you'll wanna make sure that you put the LEDs down so they're shining out. All right, so same tools. I've got another one of these, and then I can't find my third one, so I've got this guy right here. But this one's probably gonna be the hardest one to remove, and the reason for that is there's so much of the headliner that comes up and around that you've gotta kinda get behind. There's a couple metal tabs on this side. If you can push them in and then pull it down, this side's got a hook on it, so you actually won't be able to get that side out first unless you end up breaking it. So what we're gonna be doing with these is getting up back behind there and then pushing on those metal tabs and kind of rolling it out. Once that's out, we'll just replace these. These are just the bulb style. And I've got the rear one done, again, like I said earlier, just to make sure that everything fits. But there is a little bit of modification on this. I'll show how to do that. It's pretty simple. It's nothing too crazy or permanent to the point where if you ever went back to these other bulbs that it would cause any issues. So we'll get this one out. I'll kind of show what the mounts look like so that when you're doing this at home, you kind of know what to look for when you've got your picks back behind there. So this is what this looks like out of the car, and you can see these metal tabs here. I got a little impatient and just kind of pulled on it a little bit more than I probably should have, but those are the tabs that you want to push in, and then once you get those, you can kind of pull this side out. And this side right here has the tabs. They're not going to come out without a huge fight, so you'll want to make sure you do that side first. Now in the back, the one that sits above the rear seats, this middle bulb right here, I actually had to use a step-up drill bit and bore it out slightly because the new LEDs are going to be bigger around than the bulbs that were sitting in there before. From my experience in the rear, these fit just fine, but they look like they might be a little bit tight in the front. So we are going to replace all these and just see if we can get them to fit without having to fight them too much. So in the rear one, I undid here, here, and here. There's one there on the side, one on this side, and then this actually came up. But where I've got the ambient lighting right here, that looks a little bit frail. Oh, it looks like they're on mounts. You just got to be careful when you're disassembling this piece. So I'm going to be removing these side ones again, and then we're going to pull this board off. I'll bore that out, slip the bulb in there, and then we'll be done with this section. So there is a little bit of modification to do this. It's only because these are slightly larger around than the original bulbs, and it's just to make sure you can get them through that hole there. So we were able to get the board off. You just have to be really careful. Here in the middle, these clips are holding on pretty tight, and if you just pull on it, you'll break the board. And then from here, we're just gonna be boring out the middle hole. I have my step-up drill bit here, and I'm just gonna do it as little as possible. I think the biggest downside to this is you'll get shavings on the inside of that light, so just use an air compressor, you can blow those out. All right, so I think this actually looks really cool how it is. It's gonna be super bright because these are no lightweights. These LEDs are absolutely insane how much brighter they are than the standard bulb that was in there. So we made sure this board was pushed on all the way. Got to be careful about all these clips along here. Just make sure you slide them back into where they were, because that's how you control these lights, is those switches there. Some of mine are getting a little sticky, but it's okay. We'll have to play with those a little bit, but we're ready to reinstall this and show off what it looks like. There we go, look at that. So here we are around the back of the car. I just want to show these LEDs here. This one is on the actual hatch itself, and I don't know if you can see it on camera, but the plastic is actually melted. I can feel the waves in it, and you can just barely see there on the top end of that it's starting to kind of fall apart. And then the same thing on this side. But all of these are the same as what we've seen up front, so you'll just pull this straight out. There's a couple tabs on it, and you want to be careful not to break that. Same thing with these side ones here. Those just pull straight towards you. You'll just replace the LEDs and then put them back in. All right, well, that's going to wrap up today's video. Awesome product, amazing results, very happy with it. If I have any complaints at all about any of this, is that they might be a little bit too bright, which is kind of funny to say because the other bulbs were so dim that it's might as well have not even had lights in here almost. The first thing you end up doing is wanting to pull out a flashlight so you can see anything underneath the seats, in the footwell, anything like that. And to be able to have so much more vision in this car, it's made it a lot easier to work in here. And of course I do this at the end when the interior is basically put back together and I'm done needing to be able to see in here, is now when I can see without having a flashlight with me all the time. But I am very happy with it. AUXITO has had some fantastic products that we've done. We are going to continue to use their stuff. I've got some bulbs on the race car, so the race car has its headlights blacked out, and so I don't get any output through the high beams anymore. So we're going to play with the AUXITO LED bulbs and see if I can't get a little bit more output through those headlights so I can see a little bit better. Basically, if that car is not in town with street lights and stuff like that running, it's very difficult to drive that car at night. So we are going to be playing around with that. The interior of this wagon is basically put back together. I got a seat back there that I'm working on. The latch won't come down all the way. But other than that, like, we're really done on the inside. The exteriors got the trim, so we'll go over this in another video, but I had to get the trim actually professionally painted because I've tried to paint it with some trim and bumper paint, which I've used on the channel before, and it just didn't work. We'll go over that in a different video. I want to go over the specifics of kind of why the trim has been missing on the outside of the car for so long. I've had some comments about it on both the YouTube channel and on my Instagram, which, by the way, is Tenza_Motorsports if you want to follow. Check out any early content, sneak peeks, previews, stuff like that, and also giveaways we do on there as well. And again, if you're interested in any AUXITO products, I have the link down in the description below, and if you use the code TENZA, that's TENZA, you get another 15% off your order. Thanks so much, everybody, for watching. If you enjoyed today's content, hit the like button, subscribe if you're new. Any comments or questions, leave them down in the comment section below. Lots more content to come. Stay tuned. We'll see everybody in the next video.